Hey, we went long, so this is part two. Hope you enjoyed the first half because this is a lot more of it.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions because I don't know a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Just in general.
Enjoy.
Oh, fuck you.
But back on the Millennium Falcon, we got C-3PO and R2-D2 playing monster chess.
Yeah, there is a name for it. I can't remember what
I know.
it's
I
called
can't. And I know the name too, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
We're playing monster chess against Chewie, and fucking 3PO or R2-D2 fucks him up, and I just love Han. He's like,
You might want to let him win.
yeah, droids aren't. Nobody ever worries about letting a droid win.
A droid doesn't rip a human's arms out of its socket when it loses.
And then just Chewie just being
Fair
like,
enough.
yeah.
Yep, I'll rip out your fucking arms.
Kind of my go-to move, ripping off arms. I don't know if you heard of my work before, but I will rip your fucking arms off and beat you to death with them.
Maybe you should let him win.
Give him your lunch money too. Give him my lunch money.
We don't eat lunch.
Just give him your money.
Just give him money.
And we have
Cold
Luke.
hard credits.
We have Luke doing the blast shield training, which still really never. Like when I was a kid, I didn't think about it. As I got older, I thought about it. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Why do you have a helmet with a blast shield you can't see through? But hey,
No, there's got to be something. It's for a very specific like bomb that you set off that has
like
a
a
bright flash,
flashbang
or for going to a very specific system that the sun is whatever heat source. Their version of the sun. You need this on to drive through. Maybe
okay.
I can pseudoscience it enough to be like it's needed for something.
Yeah, there's some reason this
The
exists.
Force.
The Force. Well, not this time.
I'm just thinking. Well, actually,
They're using
yes,
using
this
it
time.
with the Force, not because of.
Because yeah, it is on Han's ship. So, and he doesn't believe in hokey religions and ancient, whatever he says,
Gobbledygook.
hokey religions and ancient weapons. Nothing like a good blaster at your side.
Oh, sorry, it went off.
It's never happened.
You
to
know,
me
he
before.
was for a while. He was the only non-Force user to use a lightsaber.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of using a lightsaber, because I thought about it earlier. You
I have
mentioned
one.
Luke doing a Mary Sue thing here, which everybody complained about with the new movies. Luke does take about 24 hours to learn how to use the Force, but
Yeah,
which is apparently fine with all these people. I guess because he's male.
I mean, he is the chosen one's son, so he would be good at the Force. But
Yeah,
no,
he's like, hey, look, I have no problem with it.
When he first, when Obi-Wan first hands him the lightsaber, he's just like, zoop, 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 zoop. Pretty cool.
that kid's a natural.
You know what? Give me yours too. Zoop, 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 zoop. Yeah, I'm gonna put them together. Nunchucks.
Watch this. Turn the lights on and off really fast.
You have that 10-hour version of Sandstorm? I'm about to go off.
Yo, DJ R2, hit me!
Harder, faster, better, stronger.
Han, what the fuck is going on back there? Get the fuck off my Falcon. Did you guys get into the spice? The smuggling net. God damn it, Chewie. I told you to hide it in the smuggler's compartment.
By
That's
the
what
way,
I call my nose.
just speaking of Harrison
call
Ford
mine.
saying "get the fuck out," of course that's Air Force One, right? Get off my plane. But that David Blaine clip, when David
Oh,
Blaine
yeah.
goes to his house and does some close-up magic,
He
shit.
opens up an apple. He cuts an apple open and pulls out his card. And Harrison Ford just looks at it. Get the fuck out of my house. Or just get the fuck out. Yeah.
He says, "Get out of my house" for sure. Get the fuck out of my house. But I was like, did he do that because of Air Force One? Is he thinking about his own things, or is he just literally like
That's
voodoo?
just who he is.
That was him just saying it in the movie. Like it wasn't scripted.
That wasn't in the Air Force One script.
Oh my God,
Get
that's
the fuck
amazing
off my
delivery.
plane.
Keep that. Drop the fuck and do it again.
But so they find the Death Star. They get tractor beamed in because they get to Alderaan.
That's
and
no
they're,
moon.
Why is there an asteroid field here? It should be a planet. Weird.
I thought you said we were at Alderaan. We're here. We are here.
Oh, look, there's Jimmy
Someone
Smith's
must
head.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Because presumably Jimmy Smith was on the planet, right?
Yeah, I guarantee you that that's how he dies. I don't know what book it would be in, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how he meets his end.
His demise.
And the because it's Leia's pretty much the last. Well, not the last. I think there's something I read. There's like 5,000 or 10,000 Alderaanians left in the galaxy.
But they're just
I mean,
floating around.
There's a
Yeah,
small
you were
chance.
off-world.
There's a small chance he was off world.
But they get tractor beamed in. So Obi-Wan leaves the group. He's like, I'm going to go do this. I've got my own shit to do. He tells Han, I'll take care of it. And Han's like, man,
This old
I knew you were going to
motherfucker,
say
dude.
that.
Yeah.
And they find
Oh
out.
yeah, he was on Alderaan when it got blowed up.
Yeah. So they find where Obi-Wan needs to go, but then R2 also is like, "Oh shit, the princess is here." And Luke, not knowing that the princess is his sister
Mm-hmm.
because George Lucas didn't know. He always knew.
Then it makes it much weirder, George.
Dude, we
Yes,
got to
it
go
does.
save this hot chick. Princess.
I really want to bang her. I saw this message. She was bent over, and
She
I'm
had all
thinking
the
Carrie
right
Fisher is
curves.
gorgeous.
I'm thinking
in
we should
this.
make babies, me and her. Oh no, she's absolutely gorgeous.
I said in this, she's gorgeous.
she's gorgeous, but I'm just saying, it's your sister. Calm down.
Yeah. I mean, the coming up here, we'll get to that when,
Oh,
when
the
Han's,
way
like,
that you lay in the jail
instigating
cell.
him. No, the way that when Han is instigating him when they get back on the Falcon afterwards. But
Nuh-uh.
he has to convince Han to go save Leia. He's like, she's got
She's
money.
rich. The great line. He's like, the reward would be more wealth than you can imagine.
I can imagine a
I
lot.
can imagine a lot.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the subtitles definitely say wealth. Wasn't gonna have them on, but she's like, I can't hear if I can't see subtitles,
Yeah.
so I left them
can't
on.
hear without subtitles.
It does say wealth, but I always, when I was younger, I was like, the fuck is he saying? Because he's just not a good delivery. He's like, more wealth than you imagine.
Well, what do you mean? Yep.
I guess he is from a farm planet, so
Good pig
it's,
shit farm
it's
planet.
more wealth you can imagine.
What are you farming there? Moisture in the pig shit.
Pig moisture.
Pig moisture. That's disgusting. And I work for a pig shit farm. You so gross.
So they have this plan to put Chewie in handcuffs, binders. Sorry.
Yeah, but also I don't trust Luke to do it.
Yeah,
He
no.
knows the thing. He's like, dude, I love Peter Mayhew as Chewie. He's
Do you
terrifying.
think he's just like, fuck off?
No, he said when he put the eye makeup on, he became Chewie. And so he wasn't speaking any basic. He
He
would
said-
just be going like, ah!
Oh.
And then they would add the sound
So
later.
it's just a 7-foot tall man screaming at very short Mark Hamill.
You-
yeah.
It's pretty short for a stormtrooper.
You put him on. I'm not going over there
That
again.
wasn't scripted.
I heard what he does to
Ah!
arms. Just talked about this.
But yeah, they put him in the binders. They're taking him down. And we do get, and I've mentioned it before, but one of my favorite Star Wars character classes, I guess, the mouse droid.
Uh-huh. Oh, we missed a gonk droid earlier.
Oh, the walking trash can. Whitney was like,
Yeah.
"What's this guy in a trash can
Gonk.
back there?"
Gonk.
They're basically just batteries. You
Yeah.
said before,
This
right?
is
Yeah.
this is also where you get the
He's learning.
yeah. This is also where you see the black C-3PO. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, is he the bondage?
That's how you know it's evil. It's in all
Okay.
black.
It started out silver, and they were just like, "Well, if we get this paint, we put it on him as long as he's still shiny."
They put,
I want to
they
fucking
put that
have
gloss on him.
somebody out there's probably done it. I want like a virtual tour of the Death Star. I think that sounds so fucking cool. Like just to be able, like, if you had it in video game with all those levels, I
yeah,
would.
we
love
Well,
it.
with-
we have that thing, the goggles, the VR goggles.
Oh yeah,
With LucasArts, it was probably hard. With Disney, it's out there, but it's on the dark web now
yeah,
because
yeah.
they don't own it, so you can't do it unless they give you permission.
Yep, and they ain't giving permission unless you give to St. Jude's.
Am I gonna have to blur out my 4K when I put it?
Yeah, they're coming for you.
But I don't know. I love mouse droids. I had to Google what the fuck are mouse droids even for?
Cleaning.
Cleaning,
And-
and they lead troops around, and they'll do like minor repairs.
Yeah.
But I just and
it's
and
cleaning
the,
and escort is the biggest thing.
the description was like it was like they'll just hum to themselves while they're working because I always wondered like that's one of those things that's been in my head since I was like 5.
Uh-huh.
So why do you work?
And at the end of the day, it's because it looked cool. George just was like, I want a little droid going through. And then some nerd was like, I can figure out why. I can
Well,
write a whole book about what they do.
Huey,
Huey.
Chewie,
Uh-huh.
Chewie.
Chewie Lewis in the
By
news.
the way, this giant thing being called Huey is actually more terrifying. But
Hey, Huey.
but
Yeah?
Chewie screaming at this thing is like, and then he's like,
Dude, good mouse droiding. I like
dude,
that.
I've loved these things for 40 years, man.
Since before you were born.
Well, 30 years, I guess, because I was from the first time I saw it. Like,
Yeah.
35. I can do math, but I just.
That's the sound I'm going to hear now when I see Derek leave a conversation awkwardly.
The next time we're at the bar and it's really full, like the other night.
He's
and I
also
just-
making that sound, just so you know.
That's why everyone looks at him weird. Derek's just,
I walk into the bar. And there's a bunch of people.
Hey, what's up, Derek? Come over and hang out with us.
Oh, I'm a giant
And
mouse
there's
droid.
me. I'm like, hey.
You're 3PO. Oh, look over there.
Hello, friends.
Oh, we didn't talk enough about the Jawas transport. My favorite land vehicle in Star Wars.
Oh, the big upside down triangle.
Yeah. You might be wondering how these little fellows were able to build such a giant contraption.
They stole
They
it.
stole
They
it.
stole it.
They steal everything.
I
Well,
was
it was
not, in
abandoned.
fact,
It was
wondering.
Those dirty Jawas.
It was abandoned by the Zerka Corporation when they were mining there, and they were like, "This is too dangerous. Tusken Raiders keep fucking up our shit. Jawas are stealing it, pulling out
The Zerka
Pull out.
Corporation.
with a C."
I just love that you just threw out Zerka like we knew anything you were talking about.
Somebody listening probably
You
does.
see, it was left behind by the Zerka Corporation, of course.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and we all know about the Zerka Corporation.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
but when they bring
devil
Chewie
is
in,
What the fuck is the Zerka Corporation?
they mine.
That's it's one of their things they do.
Are they like Omnicorp?
Yeah, kind of closer to Google.
It's terrifying.
Omnicorp, that's aliens, right?
It's like Nestle.
Is Omnicorp aliens?
No, isn't that RoboCop?
Oh, OCP.
Yeah, you know me.
Either way, some old sci-fi that I love, and I can't get them all straight because I watch them too often,
Weren't
or
we
not
just
often
talking
enough.
about
Yeah.
OCP?
Yeah,
Why
you know
were we
me.
talking about OCP?
Ronnie
we were
Cox.
talking about Cop Rock.
Ronnie Cox.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. I was like, 'cause we were talking about Cop Rock, so of course we were talking about RoboCop Rock.
Woo.
That was a joke.
But when they bring him in, they bring Chewie into the prison detention level.
Where are
There
you
go.
going with that?
Prison transfer.
Thing.
Yeah, prison transfer from cell block 1138. Get it? She doesn't get it.
She doesn't even
Bell?
care.
She has no idea what I'm talking about. No. George Lucas's first film, student film / what he finished after, THX 1138. It's also where the name Wookiee came from.
Mm-hmm. Somebody ran over a Wookiee.
And he just heard Wookiee and he was like, that's adorable. I'm keeping it.
Do you know the cell number that Leia's in?
No.
2187.
Yep,
Wow.
it is.
Wow.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
You know how you can remember that? How you'll be able to remember that? They throw back to it in episode 7.
February
FN
1st of
2187.
87.
Oh, okay. I've only seen episode 7 twice.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
3 times.
Let's get better.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm still
'Cause I watched it-
astonished by my-
I'm not shocked that you remember that. That's just a crazy thing to remember. That was great.
But yeah, because I saw Force
I
Awakens.
expected him to maybe know the fact that it's FN 2187.
No, I didn't even make the connection. That's Finn's.
Okay.
I know that's Finn's name. 'Cause
Oh.
FN. Because that's his,
His
stormtrooper
designation.
designation before he.
Well,
Okay.
he's not a stormtrooper. He's a first order trooper. He's got the smile instead of the frown.
But I saw Force Awakens in the theater, and then I watched it again before Last Jedi, and then I watched it again before that other one that we don't acknowledge.
I love episode 7. I know it's a clone of this. I
Yeah.
understand that. It's excited me for what was coming up next, and then I didn't like what 2 came after it, but that's besides the point.
Well, even when we left the theater, I was like, I've seen that. It was episode 4. Also, great time.
It looked good though.
Yeah.
Like
But see, that's how
I
you
defend
do it.
Adam Driver.
Don't fucking refurbish or whatever you do to these classic movies. Make something else and be like, hey,
If
this
you want to make
also
the same
happened.
fucking movie, just
We'll
make it
move
new.
on. We'll move on from the sequel trilogy after saying this. They didn't have a plan, which is
Clearly.
why 7 was a rehash of this. 8 was Ryan Johnson trying to do something new and failing at being in the middle of this movie thing,
Well-
and then 9 was written by
Yeah,
internet.
We'll get
And,
there.
yeah.
I was like, failing? We'll talk about it.
it failed as a part of the trilogy. All
It-
3 of them kind of did.
Yeah, because they aren't a trilogy. They
And
were.
that's
I mean,
not an
these
indictment
weren't
on
written
him.
together either.
Right.
Yeah, they were. But like,
check the
I mean,
notes, bitch.
5 and 6, I guess, were
Mm-hmm.
because then he knew. But yeah, so they take him in there. They shoot all these guys and these Imperial troops, and then that's that phone call.
Yeah.
Call.
Hi. We're good
fine.
here. Had some trouble. Some
His-
things were blowing up. How
That's
are
that's the
you?
thing. His delivery this whole time he's been like, "I'm Han Solo, bitch,"
Yeah.
and then here he's like, "We're all good here. Thank you. How are you?"
he went Adam Sandler in Airheads. Over against the wall, please. Thank you. We're all good. Don't send anybody. There's a toxic leak.
It's
Save
really
yourselves.
bad.
Oh,
They're
no,
like,
we're
we're
all
sending
dying."
somebody down.
Yeah, break collar.
Fuck it.
Terrible
Guys.
conversation anyway.
We are gonna have some company.
It was a boring conversation anyway, guys.
Did you see? It's coming up here somewhere where one of the stormtroopers bonks his head really good. It's a very famous scene.
Yes, yeah.
In the Disney version, they add a badonk. They add the fucking noise and lean into like a bucket sound. It's a change I actually liked.
Does this guy have a book about him too?
Probably.
He's like that fat dude from Friday Night Lights or whatever it was, Varsity Blues.
Pork-
he just keeps having.
Pork-
No, you're thinking Porkins because of this.
Was
No.
it like Bubba?
Bubba, but you know,
No,
he's
it's
got
a Billy Bob.
he
Billy Bob.
has all the concussions and
Porky
stuff.
is his pig. He had a pig named Porky.
Yeah.
I thought you said
Or Bacon.
Porkins,
Bacon.
but like you know, he's got a bunch of concussions, and it's just a book about his concussions
Sausage.
and how they're gonna kill him.
Yeah. He's like, well, I couldn't shoot straight that day because of the many concussions I had from walking around the Death Star in a helmet.
But my coach
Can't
told me.
walk.
My coach told me just this one last game, and then he'll let me rest. So
Luke even said, "I can't see shit in these glasses."
Yeah, in these helmets.
In these helmets.
They had Jango Fett bonk his head in episode 2 when he was getting on the Slave One. Sorry, the fire spray. They changed the name. Can't say
because
it.
they've never said the word slavery in Star
Helicopters
Wars.
are looking for you.
Because I said Slave One.
Yes.
Sorry, the Slave. No, they had him bonk his head just like an homage to this, like
Okay.
because like stormtroopers are based off the clone troopers, which are
Right.
all his clone.
Yeah.
And then we have the very famous Carrie Fisher when Luke comes in to save her. Is she a little short for a stormtrooper?
Dude, she is late.
Oh, the costume.
Like she is just sprawled. Is she trying to seduce whoever comes in here?
Yeah.
Is that her game plan?
No,
No,
she was
it's
sleeping.
the thing is, it's Carrie Fisher.
Not like that.
No,
She
it's
was sleeping, and then she sat up. She's like,
Nobody sits up from sleep like this.
I
it's
do.
Carrie Fisher. So everything she does is sexy.
It's true.
Tell me I don't wake up like that.
I don't know. You wake up before
I
me.
do.
But I mean, even on 30
They'll
Rock,
never know.
on 30 Rock, when she's much older, she's heavier and stuff because that's what happens when you get older. Still, just being like a mean, like gruff chick in that, I was still like, I don't know, man, Carrie
She
Fisher.
get it.
She's also terrifying and sexy in Blues Brothers when she's trying to kill.
Oh
John
yeah, she's
Belushi.
running around with a fucking big old gun.
Yeah, many
Yeah.
times different guns and big.
Get a gun in the sewer.
Mm.
Oh,
That's
you
the
love
bazooka.
me. You really do love me.
Oh, it's the bazooka
The
in the
bazooka.
last one.
Yeah.
She just keep grading up.
Yep.
She
She's
And
leveling
she's
up.
just she's credited as like mysterious woman or something. I don't think she
Yeah.
even has a name.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
But yeah, so then it's the famous trash compactor scene because she's like, "Look, you're not going to solve this fucking problem. I'll solve it." Shoots the thing. They go down in. We have the Gleep Glorp thing down there.
Come on. Come on.
The
Begins with a D.
Dianogan.
Dianoga.
Boom.
Dianoga. Yeah, I'm giving him points.
Okay.
I'm
It
giving him
counts.
points. Yeah,
Point for
it
Derek.
counts.
Gold star.
Gold star. You get a purple square.
Certainly silver star because I needed a prompt, but
You're solid gold.
I love when they get down there, and I think it's Han that's like, "Oh, what an incredible smell you've discovered, princess."
Yep.
And apparently the whatever they were doing down here, obviously it's not sewage, it's water or whatever, but the Wookiee suit
Mhm.
continued to smell like garbage, like just absolute shit for the rest of the shoot because it got wet.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's just a wet Wookiee coming out of the rain in Kashyyyk.
This
Oh.
walking carpet out of my way.
I've heard that before. Yeah, dude, she's rude to him for no reason because I think that we're supposed to, at this
She's a
point,
princess. She's
yes, but also I think at this point, Wookiees are, he's toying with the notion of Wookiees being a lower life form,
yeah.
kind of a pet. Because fast forward to the end of this movie, he doesn't get a medal.
No.
He gets fucking snubbed. And they wrote a
Yeah, he
book
does.
about it where it's like Wookiees don't care for such trinkets.
Yeah,
No,
they do.
I
Hashtag
think
justice
that-
for Chewie.
justice for medals for Chewie.
Medals for Chewie. Let's
But I
start this
think it's
hashtag.
because George Lucas is toying with it being like his pet, very much fucking Spaceballs.
Barf.
Barf.
But
Dad's name was
what I
Ralph.
thought of when she pushed past him and said, "Get this walking carpet out of my way," was the next year's Star Wars Holiday Special when they're talking in code about Han and Chewie coming back to the planet.
Yeah.
He's like, "That rug you ordered is on the way."
That
And I'm
it was hand stitched
Han-
solo by themselves. Are
I
you
just-
getting what I'm putting down? It's thick.
I just thought of that. I'm
Bam.
like, is that like a joke? Because like this is the first time she met Chewie, and then they become friends. So he's like, remember that time you called me a carpet?
Yeah.
So now they're like
Yeah.
smuggle code is like the carpet is on the way.
I repeat, the carpet is home from the cleaners.
I'm sure there's a book about it.
Uh-huh. He was signing everything, dude. He's like, does it have Yoda? Signed.
I've got a completely out of left field fact for this next thing. Is he's shooting around and the blaster bolts are bouncing because it's magnetically sealed. I've mentioned before that I'm reading some of the New Republic books.
Yeah, High Republic.
High Republic, sorry. The High Republic books.
New Republic would be the Ahsoka
Yeah.
timeline.
There's this guy whose name is just like Stone or I don't know, something. He's literally like a big rock. They're like
Yeah.
sentient.
Yeah, he was one of the. He's on the ship. There's a pilot. It's very Matthew McConaughey.
The vessel is the name
Yeah.
of the ship that in this, at least in the books, the vessel is the name of the ship, and these are like some of the really cool characters. But he's like a rock creature, and like even in the book, I mean, obviously you're not seeing, you're reading, or in my case, listening.
Uh-huh.
But like nobody
My
ever
case,
sees
too.
him move. He's just like they're like, oh, it's a rock, and they'll turn around and he's just there, and they're like, like he's sentient, and he's
Yeah.
like he's their navigator. But there's a whole bit at the end of that third book, which I can't think of the name of right now, but where you find out they can make themselves either magnetically sealed or not.
Mm-hmm.
So like at one point something happens and he like moves in front of somebody and like takes a shot because he's a giant rock thing. He
Yeah.
saves somebody's life. Later on, there's this guy that's doing some shit and he goes in front of it and makes himself magnetically sealed so it reflects back at the dude and kills him. And it just made me think of that as soon as she's like, or the Luke was like, they're magnetically sealed.
Yeah,
I was like,
dangerous.
I know what that means.
Dangerous for rock guy gets magnetically sealed.
His race can choose to do it.
Mhm.
pretty
I remember
fucked
I read
up.
that book and I really liked that whole crew. The pilot was, like I said, very Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Like he was an asexual guy. He's like, I had sex before. It's all right.
And
like
the girl
flying.
it's like his assistant or his co-pilot kind of, but she owns the ship and he works for her and
Mm-hmm.
they're really cool. And then there's that douchebag guy that hates them, Ventress or something. No, that's a real person.
Yeah, Asajj Ventress. is who you're thinking
I can't
of.
remember, but it doesn't matter. Maybe we'll talk about those one day.
Yeah.
Who knows how many years we'll be alive?
5.
Just enough time to finish Clone Wars.
Yeah.
As soon as we finish Clone Wars, Jack's gonna kill himself.
No, I'll just be old.
Remember, he ages 2 days at a time.
Mhm. I'm 84 right now.
But so 3PO, shut down all the compactors on the detention level. Shut down all the compactors.
Where is he? Why isn't he responding?
3PO. He's got a good scream.
Oh, listen to them.
No, that's
R2,
once he
we
turns
failed.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like they're celebrating. He's like, we failed.
You
I
did
failed.
it. Yeah. Oh, listen to their screams. Agony.
And they get back down to, obviously there's a bunch of stuff going on, but like I said, I'm not going to talk about everything. They get back down to the ship. And this is when Leia sees the Millennium Falcon for the first time. And she's like, you drive that thing or fly that thing?
You are brave.
Much
I do
braver
want
than
to talk.
thought.
I know we're not going to do the action, but when Obi-Wan is going around like those pylons and turning things
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
and it's the overtop view, those are glass paintings.
Yeah.
Like that they didn't, not digitally, but they put it, well, I guess it would be digitally.
Well, it's all matte painting stuff. I think not digitally back then, they would have, and if they didn't have him standing directly above a painting,
Uh-huh.
which is something they did a lot in that era, and I
But
don't
it's
know
a
about
painting.
this.
So I sent
But they
it
would
to
take
you.
it and then they would cut out, like basically in the film, they'd take the person, and I guess they could have done somewhat digitally because they could do blue screen stuff. At
So
the time,
I sent it
but-
to you, and it's basically just, it's all blank spots all around where that pylon is a physical thing he's on, and nothing else there exists.
Yeah,
The rest is all these glass paintings on the bottom to make it look like it goes all the way down into a reactor. Like it's really fucking cool effects that they invented for it or refined.
yeah, like repurposed because I mean
Yes.
it's based on the idea of matte paintings.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of doing it.
And he's turning off the tractor beam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I do like the two guys that are like left to guard that bridge that he's at the edge of, and he just does a little like force thingy.
Did you hear that over there?
It's
That
just
nothing.
off gassing, and it always bothered me even as a kid, and it's fine because like these helmets don't have great visibility.
He's looking.
But that one trooper looks away, Alec Guinness comes out, and the other trooper looks right back, and it's like if I couldn't see somebody standing right
Yeah.
there. But again, not great visibility. I guess you're
I just thought of
looking
something-
forward.
I just thought of something from the prequels when I think it's episode 2 when the droids hear like R2D2 and he's like, "What's that?" That nothing. This is what exactly the same thing. He's like, what was that? That's nothing.
He says it's off gassing. I'm like, your giant space moon is farting.
Yep.
Yeah. It can be run on poop. Did I tell you
We
that?
did learn that.
Yeah.
And where were we talking about? Rogue One.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's a invention that somebody wrote about that you can turn pretty much any sort of matter into fuel. Waste
poop has
happens to be
methane in it.
well. This just will
This
take
turns
anything.
any matter.
This takes
into
anything, let
fuel.
alone. So if you have as many people on the Death Star as you do, and they all have to pee poo,
Yeah.
this is the best way to run your space
There
station.
you go.
Also, everybody, just if you don't want to watch older black and white movies, even from the 90s, you should still watch that scene from Clerks where they're arguing about the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to why in a minute here, but in about 4 hours. I do like when they're trying to get away though, like when they see the ship, they're trying to get down there, and these troopers find them. So Han goes charging after them, and it's just this gung ho down the hallway.
They run away.
It turns the corner, and they're all at a dead end. So they just start shooting at him, and it's just back. Ah!
Chewie's like, what the fuck, man? It's like candy. She's like, what's happening?
Hey guys, I don't want to sound needy here.
I'm needy.
But we have a Patreon at patreon.com/worstpeople.
Mm-hmm.
And it only costs $3 a month.
$3 a month is nothing.
And I know times are hard right now.
Real hard for me.
Inflation's up.
No.
You can't afford your groceries.
Can't eat.
But you can afford $3 a month if you love us.
Give us $3.
Super love us.
Please
Yeah.
love us.
We're not begging.
I'm begging.
We're not pleading.
I'm pleading.
We're not down on our knees.
Oh boy,
I mean-
my knees hurt. They've been on so long.
But we do kind of need the money.
I need the money bad.
We need new equipment.
New equipment. We need to do remote podcasts for all of you.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need to have video.
I wouldn't mind eating.
We need more drinks.
Food sounds good.
So please check out patreon.com/worstpeople.
Please check us out.
But we have the first instance of Star Wars magic locks.
Mm-hmm.
Because Luke and Leia go out to this little platform. Troopers are following them, so they close it. She's like, "There's no lock." He's like, "Sure there is. The classic Star Wars lock." And
Pow!
shoots it. And she's like, "Okay, now extend the bridge." He's
I
like,
think I shot it.
What a precarious. And we talked
Did
about.
I do that?
We talked about because it's built by Geonosians, but it's such a precarious built. We see when they're firing the laser, there are two guys with no railing standing on just enough material to stand on. The laser is right behind them. Now you have this bridge right into an open chasm. Then you have the tractor beam pylons. Everything is like death for humans.
"Like, what is the purpose of these bridges retracting? Like,
So the person can't get across.
but the Empire isn't planning on anybody being there.
Right.
They're so
Right.
confident that they're just the same reason as like when they find out at the end of this, when Peter Cushing's like finds out that there is a possibility that they could destroy it. He's like, "The fuck you talking about?"
Yeah, flee in our moment of glory.
Yeah. So
They
It's just-
would
it's just a
never
weird
dream
thing.
of anybody boarding this shit.
I guess it was like the people who were building it, like
know what?
like in the Clerks clip I was talking about, they're all like union, right?
Uh-huh.
So the people building it are like, "Look, if I make this bridge have to extend, the guys who are working, extra pay."
Something goes up and down
Yeah.
like an elevator. That's why
Oh.
that's why they have to retract
We can
the
only afford
bridge.
one bridge. So you can go across this floor. If somebody up there needs the bridge, they can wait. They got to push the button and it goes up to their floor. This whole chasm
No,
only
I
has
just
one
meant
bridge.
something goes down, so they're like, "Oh shit!" So the payload,
Oh, they have
There's
to
a-
open it because that's where
yeah,
they deliver kyber crystals to the boomy
Exactly.
boom. Got it.
to the boom boom room,
Boomy boom. That's the
the boom boom
technical
room.
term for giant laser.
Uh-huh. Having fun yet?
We do get a Wilhelm scream.
Ooh, the first ever.
Yes.
The first in Star Wars.
First ever in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard it. I called it out too. I was like, "Ah!"
And it's almost like less Wilhelmy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess it's Wilhelmy is the guy's name or the movie or the director or something that it came from.
I think it's
but
the movie.
It's almost less extreme than some of the later ones. But it's like, yeah, this trooper gets shot and falls off the thing. Blah!
Yeah, it's good.
Love
It's a recognizable.
Stop
scream.
moving away from it.
Yeah.
Disney, if you're listening, which you aren't.
If you're listening,
Oh, you might be. Maybe I'll throw in some copyrighted music so you check it out.
Don't retire the Wilhelm scream.
don't retire.
Bring
the
it
Wilhelm
back.
scream.
Bring back the Wilhelm scream.
Bring it back.
It doesn't need to be in every property or everything, but
We
it
love
needs
it.
to show up.
It does need to be in everything.
I look for it.
I love it.
We
I
listen for
search.
it. We need it.
My life hasn't been the same.
Isn't it? It's from a movie. The guy's like on a bridge in like a jungle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I've seen the original clip. I can't remember what it was now, but
I mean, I know it from this. Like that's to me, it's a
all
Star
I know
Wars
of him.
noise. I know it's not.
a guy in a jungle like the Amazon or something going across a bridge and gets knocked off and and then people start using it because they're like, well, that's a good scream.
Yeah.
Good job, Wilhelm.
Golf clap.
Golf clap. Whoop.
Now people can see how silly we are doing our golf clap.
I mean, a perfect world to extend, but I can't because Mike wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like that.
Not like
Not
that.
like this.
Why did they do it backwards? Also.
We get the crazy like the big moment for Alec Guinness here, and it's a very good moment for Vader. Alec Guinness comes around this corner, and there's Vader standing there with the lightsaber out
Because they
already.
can feel each other. They've been feeling each other's force this whole time. Because he's even told Travis.
Since he
Let's
got
say
to the
feeling each
Death
other's
Star.
presence.
Tarkin.
Tarkin. He
Let's
was
say
like,
that. Let's say feeling each
Obi
other's
is
presence.
on
though.
this ship right now. There's no fucking way he's on this ship. He's dead. I'm telling you, he's on the ship.
Yeah, don't
hey, by the way,
underestimate the
some people are
Force.
on the ship. Well, if it is him.
But again, it's the arrogance. It's like what? There's no way Obi-Wan or anybody from the
No.
Alliance has.
We captured that
this.
ship and it was empty. There's no way they were hiding and then
We looked.
beat up some dudes and
Yeah.
took their uniforms and snuck onto the ship. That
I mean,
couldn't
that guy
happen.
looks a little short for a stormtrooper,
Like,
but
we had the Wookiee this whole time.
oh man, Tarkin would have some things to say about Wookiees.
You know who's not
He
short?
would use all the slurs that I don't know for a
No.
Wookiee. Yeah.
You know who's not short for a stormtrooper?
Oh man, but he's not a stormtrooper.
I know, but Judge Reinhold's a tall guy.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there. All right. I did the work. It's coming out every time. At least until I get tired of it, which will be
At least it's
never.
appropriate.
Yeah, we're doing Star Wars.
True.
It's always appropriate on Hunt Took Shots first because it's Runaway Speeder.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad you can't read my shirt.
Look, there's a Star Destroyer back there.
I mean, that's the speeder from this episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's actually a toy. I found a picture of a toy and then I just
Nice.
did a little work on it.
Nice.
So it's not technically copyrighted, right?
right.
Can't copyright it. Well, you can copyright it.
I don't know.
Only if you try to use it as your own. We are.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
this
that
is
font.
A Star
I'm
Wars
pretty sure
thing.
that font in the background is copyrighted too. But you know, Photoshop let me install it. So,
But we're talking about Star Wars, right?
but the I love that like they're having this battle and it's not super fast. It's actually the only part about this battle that is kind of cheesy to me, but it's very funny, so I'll take it. Is when Darth Vader starts going meh,
Yeah.
meh, and like he's doing a thrust, like a fencing thrust.
Well,
But it's,
'cause we
it's like
talked
it's almost lame. He's like spiraling and thrusting at
The guys that
Obi-Wan.
choreographed this did Princess Bride.
Oh.
And a bunch of other stuff as well. Like they're very accredited guys. So and George was toying with the idea that these were going to be really heavy. Like that's what made them really tough to use, which is why.
I mean,
you
obviously
were-
he changed his mind before they finished this movie because Luke's just flapping that shit around.
yeah,
so.
but like in a duel, it would be
Yeah.
tough to use because I think he wants it to be you have to have the Force to use it, but he abandons that.
yeah,
But that's why it's also because I know that David Prowse kind of lied a little bit about how experienced he was. So and I'm not giving him too much shit because that'd be tough to fight in that suit. I'm sure
Yeah.
he doesn't have a lot of mobility, can't fucking see very well.
yeah,
And Alec
Do they
Guinness
actually
is-
have sticks that they're hitting?
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah. They have real things they're hitting it, and then they just layer it over. And then I read a thing about the sound for the
Mhm.
lightsabers. It's a combination of like a 35 millimeter film projector from wherever the dude who made the sound worked,
Mhm.
and then carbon arc. So I'm assuming just like a little arcing like electric thing.
Oh, for the
Yeah.
crackling when they.
Yeah,
Right.
and then I think it was hot metal on dry ice,
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
and he just kind of like obviously tweaks them and stuff, but like
Yeah.
that's where the sound came from. for
We
the
don't.
lightsabers.
We've talked about it in other episodes.
Dude, I
but,
want to
like,
be a
the-
Foley worker.
This isn't even Foley work though.
It's Foley.
Fully.
This isn't even Foley work either. This is like a sound bank thing. This is sound engineering. Like they had to create. There's a whole documentary about just creating the sounds for, like a lot of the blaster stuff. You know, the big metal cables. You're hitting
Yeah.
those. Like
Yeah.
that's what a lot of the laser sounds are, especially the larger ones. Like it is, like you're creating a whole fucking sound bank to use. The Wookiee has 3 different animals blended in. I know it's a bear and a lion.
Okay.
Maybe a
Elephant.
sea lion as well.
There's some in there.
Yeah. But man, time to watch the documentary again.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Do we do a whole episode about Star Wars documentaries? We'll just
What
watch
we-
all the ones
what
we
we
can find.
learned.
The People versus George Lucas, A Disturbance in the Force, the sound one you're talking about, and then the whole ILM fucking series that they
Mhm.
did on Disney Plus,
I
which is
Love
a great
Mountains?
watch.
It is.
It is. But so the stormtroopers kind of abandon their stations guarding the ship.
Imagine working on this Death Star, which is mostly a dull job because
Yeah.
you just
Yeah.
fly around and kill planets. All of a sudden, you're like, hey,
You've only killed one planet this time.
so far.
I mean, you've shot 2 other planets, so
Yeah. You've destroyed a lot of a planet. But just imagine, like, hey, boss is scrapping it up over there. Some old man. I never even saw him ignite his lightsaber before. This is cool.
This is
hey, guys,
amazing.
get over here.
oh, they weren't in the hallway right before this movie. When he's
Yeah.
just got that, he's just slicing dudes in half, gutting them like a fucking tauntaun on the ceiling. Like,
Oh, man. I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
And then Obi-Wan sees that Luke is watching, so he sacrifices himself because he needs to like learn to stand on his own. He's been
So-
he's been learning the Force for 4 hours.
How does he do this? How does he? Because I know Luke does essentially the same thing, and
He becomes one with the Force.
so
It's
your entire being disappears.
Yes. So it's something George flip-flopped back and forth on, as you
As
would
he
imagine.
does.
What it comes
No, I
down to,
didn't.
he thought this looked really cool. Nope, I didn't do that. He thought this looked really cool, and it does.
It does. It,
It
looks
definitely
amazing.
does. Then when he has Yoda die in episode 6, he disappears and becomes one with the Force. Qui-Gon Jinn's body did not disappear
Why?
because they wanted a scene of having him burned. But he did become one with the Force.
did end
He's
up
the one
becoming a
that
Force
teaches
ghost.
Yoda to become one with the Force.
Do they take his body and burn it though, like they do with Vader at the end?
Qui-Gon,
of-
yeah, they have a.
So I mean, I think
the
once,
Boon Rule?
once your physical form is gone, because I mean they burned Darth Vader at the end of this trilogy,
and he
Spoiler
becomes
alert,
one
I
with
guess,
the
but-
Force.
yeah, and then he gets to show up as either is it David Prowse playing?
No, Sebastian Shaw.
Okay, and then or if you watch
Depending what
the-
version you watch,
the
it
re-releases,
could be
he
Hayden
becomes
Christensen.
Anakin. Yes, he becomes Hayden Christensen.
He's always Anakin.
Hayden Christensen is just Anakin.
But yeah, no, to answer your question, it's just because Obi-Wan had been meditating the whole time when he was on Tatooine, figuring out from Qui-Gon how to do this.
Okay.
because this is after he finally got Qui-Gon
Instead he was ready to die. He was ready to, like, Qui-Gon held on a little bit longer, I guess, for whatever reason. Obi-Wan just, like you said, saw Luke and was like, all right, this is my moment. I've got to be the spark that brings hope. A new hope, I get it. I mean,
you know what?
You're welcome.
Giuseppe for best vocal performance goes to.
Thank you. Thank you.
oh, you love me. You like me. You really
I
like me.
get it, guys. A new hope. I'm like Ray Romano and George Lucas mixed together.
I had it planned the whole time.
I did. I have
My
a question
brother,
for-
Robert.
I'll wait till the end.
No, that's the end of my sentence.
Okay.
The end of something.
No. Do you think I cried in this?
Yeah, because the score is fucking amazing. John Williams, aka Johnny Dubs, pulling at your heartstrings.
When do you think I cried?
Opening
Ooh.
scroll.
No, it's gonna be. Is it when he's staring out at the two setting suns of Tatooine?
Such a
There's-
short scene too,
Yeah.
and I remember it being so much longer.
Well, it's iconic though.
I know,
It is
I
so
think that's
iconic.
why.
It's
It's
burnt into your
burned-
brain,
yeah.
and you've watched this movie 200 times.
At
So when you
least.
go to fucking bed, you see it.
So this part, I was like, huh, it's weird that, I could hear it. And I was like, my heartstrings aren't tugged. I'll tell you when we get there, though.
Okay.
Because there was one where I was just like,
Okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna say something that might shock you guys. John Williams, still fairly early, I think, in his movie scoring career at this point. Great score,
yeah.
Mhm.
but this doesn't pull emotion to me the same way his later stuff does. I mean, his work on the prequel trilogy is way more
he's-
emotional, but he also knows more what he's doing.
Yes.
Agreed, and he knows more of the character now. The things were a little bit more hashed out. Like he knew that Anakin had to become a bad guy, so he's putting that into it. Also, pulling the heartstrings. No,
He
but it's
didn't have all the
setting-
information to make the right score.
Right.
He didn't read my book,
But
dude.
he sets the tone. So I get what you're saying. But like, man, when he wants you to feel hopeful, you do.
But I
in
mean,
this
also
episode.
part of it might just be that, again, I've seen this movie God knows how many times.
Yeah.
So it might just be that, like, I'm not even hearing the score. I mean, I am, but it's all just the score and the visuals go together so well in my mind. Maybe I just didn't notice it as much.
I mean, nothing goes harder than Duel of Fates for me.
No.
No, that is John Williams' greatest hit.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking, all those movies we've discussed before with, like, when we talked about John Williams, like Jurassic Park and all these things that he did, all these Spielberg movies and all the Star Wars movies and all this stuff he did. That one song is just fucking.
Jamie
Whitney earlier, she's not the Star Wars person. That's why she's here. We need a non-Star Wars person.
We need a regular.
But
Hi.
something was going on. I don't remember earlier today, and I did some music cue out loud, and she just goes, and I was like, "What?"
Jamie had sent me this video a while back of like John Williams and all the jobs that he was offered, and when it's like Jaws, he's like 2 notes.
Oh,
can
I
do it
saw
in
that.
2 notes.
Yeah. I think
And
you
he's like,
maybe
"All right."
maybe you sent it to me.
Yeah,
but-
and it's like these are the prequels. You don't have to go that hard or anything. Like it's just kind of like this story. Everyone know, say less.
I'm gonna add vocals.
So fucking good. So, but I get what you're saying though. It's not his final form.
Yeah, it's a little more restrained, but again, it might have just been because it's so built into the movie
Yeah.
in my mind that it didn't grab me the way that, like, so I've
I'll tell
seen
you
the
what grabbed
prequels a
me.
few times, but not nearly as many as this.
I'll tell you
so.
what grabs me every fucking time: the horn blast, the horn blast at the beginning, the fucking big fanfare when it scrolls up as Star Wars. I will never not be
Yeah.
happy about this. This is my second favorite thing that I am happy I spent money on surround sound. Second favorite thing.
Okay.
First favorite porn?
No,
Oh.
Cop Rock. I had those fucking songs cranking.
I thought maybe Miami Connection.
It's gonna be all right.
Dude. Fuck yes.
All the Cop Rock.
How,
Okay,
how
so-
do you love Cop Rock and not Miami Connection? Different show.
That's the
I'm sorry.
boggle. That's the boggle, but we'll get there.
Because they're actually acting. now.
But yeah, so Obi-Wan sacrifices himself. There's a shootout. We've got the famous Han Solo hand up,
Obi!
blaster out. Yeah, does he yell Obi-Wan or he just yells no? But at first when he sees him, he's like, Ben. He's still calling him Ben.
Yeah.
That's how he
Maybe-
knew him.
That's how we
Maybe
know.
that's why Obi-Wan killed himself. He's like, my name is Obi fucking Wan.
Who
You
is
know
this,
what?
Who is this old Ben? Why old Ben?
'Cause he calls himself Old Ben.
Why not
Because
just,
old
like,
Ben
Ben?
sounds
Like-
an awful lot like Obi-Wan.
Well, in the very beginning.
That's a name I haven't
he was-
heard in a long while.
Well, who is he? Well, in fact, it is.
And we get
me.
that
Of
twice in
course
this.
I know him. He is me.
I am him. He
I
is
am
me.
Shmi. Shmi is
What
me.
about Shmi?
Well, we get that line twice in this movie, by the way, when he's like, "That's a name I haven't heard in a long time."
Yeah.
And then Darth Vader, "There's a force or
Presence.
a presence I haven't felt since."
Walk
out.
away. Just walk away.
When that scene
Because
happens,
Since when?
It's perfect. That's exactly what he said. I was like, it's perfect
No.
because he fucking knows it's him.
I know, and I've
But just
always
imagine
loved
being in that room.
that
This
moment.
is like, just imagine this is my first time watching this because it kind of is.
I know, but I've always loved that moment. It's a good, like, dramatic moment for Darth Vader. But
Just
when you
imagine
think
being in
about
that
it-
room.
When you think about it as a guy in the room, a presence I haven't felt since. Is he gonna?
You're just
finish-
on your keyboard. Did he just walk away? Are we supposed to follow him?
A presence. Is he gonna finish in another room?
Presence he hasn't felt since what?
I need to know when did he last feel said presence?
I
Yeah,
heard that
but
he
how
used
many
to be.
times have I done that to you where I start a sentence?
Yeah, and then I
I'm
follow
like,
you to the
oh,
other
fuck.
room. I'm like, what? You know what? Nobody questions Darth Vader.
I heard he used to be Anakin Skywalker.
So they
No,
get
he
out.
killed Anakin
Very
Skywalker.
few knew, by the way.
He killed Anakin.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, almost no one knew. I mean,
Moff.
we found out Reva knew.
Moff knew.
Yeah, Tarkin
Tarkin?
knew.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the higher ups thing. It's not, but I mean, also a lot of these goons don't. They're like, if they heard like he used to be Anakin, they're like, okay, the
Who
fuck's
the
an
fuck
Anakin?
is Anakin?
No, Anakin was a war hero.
He was a war hero,
Everyone knew
sure.
Annie.
But these guys are in this war. That war was 10 years ago.
Yeah, like 19.
Oh,
Yeah.
just round up 20.
So these guys are in their mid 30s. They're like, oh,
You would still know. Everyone knows about old Splicken Splocken from World War II.
I know Patton.
See?
Was
Now
Anakin
imagine-
was Anakin standing in front of a rebel flag or a galactic
Oh, you
republic
bet,
flag
dude. Oh, you-
giving speeches with a helmet?
Yeah, you bet.
Also, did Patton really do that, or is that just a movie thing?
Just a movie thing.
All right, well then, see.
He was a tough nut. We needed him, but he was mean. Like he was slapping people that were on PTSD. He's like, "Get back out there, you pussy."
That's like
Shell
shaking
shock
a
doesn't
woman
exist.
because
Shell
she
shock,
has,
yeah.
has hysteria.
Yeah, well, you have to shake a woman sometimes.
It's everybody waiting in
But
line.
it's okay to shake a woman, but it's not okay to smack a man.
No, don't smack a man.
It's everybody waiting in line on an
God.
airplane. Calm down.
But yes, very few people knew. The people that knew were way higher ups. It just always cracked me up that like Vader even listens to Moff, to Tarkin, but it's because they worked together before, and they have a huge mutual respect.
Okay.
And he's not really in charge of the military. He's kind of just a freelance lapdog of the Emperor.
So the Emperor's is alive and well, right?
yeah.
We just don't know
For
who
now.
he is.
For now, we only get the word Emperor like 3, maybe 4 times.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they
the
don't-
Emperor
they-
might do this.
They don't even
and-
say Palpatine
Nope.
or anything in this one.
Okay.
They hadn't named him yet. He was just this big, infinite figure that he probably wasn't going to show for a while.
But then we go to the Millennium Falcon. They're trying to escape. Hopefully, the old man got the tractor beams down, or this is going to be a real short flight.
Yeah.
And we get what should have been a fucking arcade game. And I'm sure there was a version of it, but it needed to be like this.
Yep.
When Luke and Han go to these gunner seats.
Oh, there is a mini game of in Knights of the Old Republic. You are on the
No, but I need like an
Evan Hawke.
arcade, like the ones where you sat in the
Yeah.
thing and you shot the gun, the little booth games.
And you're like,
But I need one of those where you're like in a thing and you like whip back and forth.
Yeah.
This chair looks fun.
Yeah.
This chair looks fun.
right? I would.
I got him. Don't get cocky, kid.
I got
hearing,
one.
Just hearing that in the fucking stereo as you're like, don't get cocky, kid. Like,
But yeah, then there's Han and Leia talking to each other after they get rid of these troopers and they jump into light speed or hyperspace.
mhm.
He says both, but it's him and Leia talking to each other, and he's like, hopefully this is worth it. I need a lot of money. And she's like, okay, cool. If money is what you care about, then that's what you can fucking have.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of like, hey, you did a pretty good job back there, right?
Kind of a hero figure
You
now.
could have had
Yeah,
me.
coulda.
You're kind of cool, right? Arm around her,
Spoiler alert. He gets her in the end.
Mm.
Probably.
Actually, I think she gets him in the end.
Hey, I don't know what they're into. She was like, I've got this bantha strap on.
Oh, God.
That would terrify me.
It's a fucking ribbed crate dragon.
Ribbed for someone's pleasure.
And not
Ew.
theirs.
And then we have the conversation I referenced earlier with Luke and Han talking about
Yeah.
Leia, and he's like,
Do you think a princess like her?
"Well,
and a
first
guy
when
like,
Luke's like, what do you think about her?" And he's like, "I try not to."
Yeah.
And then he looks over at Luke, and Luke's like, "Yeah, that's good." And he's like, "Oh, I'm fucking with this kid." So it's like, you think a princess like her and a guy like me? No,
Mm-mm, never.
I want to have sex with her. I would never have sex with my sister, but she's not my sister. So
Yeah, I mean, she smells like my mom, but
I feel like I've known her maybe since the moment I was born.
yeah. Feel a connection to her. We should probably bang.
Yeah. There you go.
There's some kind of innate connection, and I'm pretty sure it's sexual.
I mean, my penis is hard. What do you want?
And then we go to Yavin 4, which they don't say, but I know that.
Mm-hmm. It's the fourth moon of the planet Yavin, by the way.
This is the Battle of Yavin.
I
So-
assumed by the name.
Wife, on previous episodes when you've joined us and we've said this is
ABY.
X amount of years ABY or BBY,
Yeah.
it's before the Battle of Yavin, after the Battle of Yavin, because that's how, at least for Star Wars lore, not
Uh-huh.
necessarily in universe, I don't know.
It's for
but
us.
for nerds, that's the timeline. It's like BC and AD.
So between episode 3 and 4.
So this is
BBY
zero.
is this movie.
Yeah, this is the
movie
Battle
is
of
zero
Yavin.
BBY.
Okay.
Because the Death Star is right above Yavin. So like this is it. This is the open rebellion. Until now, we've had these little pocket hits, yada yada.
Oh,
This
the
is
planet
now.
they're on is Yavin?
Yavin,
Yavin
no, it's
4.
a moon. Yavin 4. It's a
Yeah.
moon of Yavin.
Oh, okay.
And so the
like-
Death Star is the whole crux of the thing is the Death Star is getting into position to fire on it.
Okay.
The rebels have to destroy it before that. So this is the Battle of Yavin, year 0
Okay.
Yeah.
for all the lore. So when we say things like Ahsoka takes place 9 ABY, it's 9 years after this.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you remember that, because I've definitely told you this before, but you don't listen to me when I
pay
talk.
attention.
When you listen to the episode later,
Is he
you'll
talking?
Couldn't tell you.
when you listen to the episode later, you'll remember that everything that we say that's Yavin starts here. This is before and after this moment.
One ear and ride out the other.
Pretty much.
This is when we get fucking Luke. Whoever's sitting next to him, is this Wedge? When he's like, "That's impossible." When they're talking about hitting this
I think
little
that's
target.
Biggs. That's his buddy Biggs Darklighter, right?
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it less shitty then, because he mentions his friend Biggs earlier in the movie.
Yeah, which the deleted scene I was referencing is with Biggs. Like, they are big friends.
Okay, because
okay.
he mentions when Biggs left, and then later on, Baru says something about, well, when Biggs and somebody else
Because
left.
all of his friends are gone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody here.
They either
what
joined
will?
the Empire
that
or
makes
Rebellion.
what he says here a little less shitty, a little less, because he's sitting around. He just showed up.
That's
These guys are all rebel pilots. They've done missions. You know, maybe they were back on that rainy canyon planet from Rogue One.
Uh-huh. No, I don't think I know it.
Oh, from Rogue One, the one where
Yeah, I know which one. I don't know the name.
Oh, okay. I was
Sorry.
like, you got it.
Yeah, I should, but I don't because it's only visited
Maybe some of
there.
these guys were at Scarif. Maybe whatever. They're all experienced pilots,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, we have to shoot. They show the plans and the little hole in the Death Star and whatever. We have to shoot this. It's 2
It's
meters.
impossible.
They also
And
probably
that guy
have
says-
They probably have defectors from Empire as well.
Oh,
in the academy.
I'm sure.
That's where
But,
Wedge
like,
Antilles came from.
This guy is clearly a seasoned pilot. He's already in his pilot suit, and he's like, that's impossible.
They're all wearing it.
Luke's not yet. Luke's
Luke is
still wearing
wearing
his
it.
white
He
robes.
hasn't.
at
No,
this
he
point.
hasn't earned it.
Oh.
He hasn't put on
it on.
Yeah, it's the next scene where he
But
puts
yeah,
it on.
that's
But
that's
that guy's like, that's
impossible.
impossible. And he's like, it's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home. They're no bigger than 2 meters. And my first thought was this guy looking at him going, fucking hick-ass
Fuck
farm boy.
you.
Get the fuck out of here. This is a real space battle. We're not shooting sewer rats
Hey,
in
can
the
you do you
fucking
think you can
desert.
snipe that bad guy from over here? I used to shoot possums in a tree much further than from where we're standing right now. Bing.
Hey, fun side story that has nothing to do with Star Wars.
Who?
My entire family is from Ohio and Indiana, so your voice there was about right. And years ago, I went to visit my great grandma, and my uncle lived with her. He was kind of taking care of her because she was older. Classic redneck shit. He lived in the basement, made his own bullets, whatnot. We're out front of the house flying a kite. It gets caught in this tree that's probably 30 feet tall. My uncle's like, I can get that out of the tree.
Oh, God.
Pulls out a rifle. We're at the edge of town,
Yeah.
but we're not out of town. Pulls out a rifle. He's like, I can get that out of the tree. And he's just trying to fucking shoot this tree branch to get the fucking kite out of the tree. And it is,
Well,
he did get it out.
all right.
And where was your
So-
mother?
Inside the house or on the, I don't remember, on the patio. Maybe I don't know. I was probably like 18 at the time or
I was
something.
like, you had
but
your
like,
brother there, so
I remember I was trying to use my flip phone to go out and call somebody. And I had to like stand under the phone lines to actually get my phone to get a signal from where they lived. I couldn't get a signal unless I was standing under the phone lines. They
The
like
good
helped
old
to boost
days.
it. But I just remember him being like, I can get that out of the tree for you. Sorry, that's what you made me think of.
Yeah. Hey, if it works, it works, man.
But yeah, I just like, this guy's like, these fucking hick farm boys think they can do everything.
Oh,
Well,
you see one fucking bullseye womp rat. Shut up.
hopefully he's one of the ones that got left alive at the end so he could see it happen and be like, son of a bitch, I can eat
But
my
I mean,
words.
much like George Lucas is writing this from the point of view, like the rebellion is not America, like, or even take like early American Revolution or our revolution. You got who you could, man. Farmers with guns was just fine.
Yeah,
That's
I know. It was just the way he delivered it and all these soldiers in uniform around
But I
him.
mean, they may not be that many soldiers. It might be just freighter pilots. That
I know.
how to
I just
fly.
think with the look of the scene, it's all these people in uniforms and it's
Yeah.
this dude in fucking overalls. Like, I could do that.
yeah.
I'm trying to fuck my sister too.
Oof.
Fits right in.
Just saying.
But he
Tattoo
doesn't know
Bama.
it's his sister.
Tattoo Bama.
Have
we
we
got
got
a
a
podcast
podcast
for
for you?
Bad movies, worst people.
I mean, look, you like getting a couple beers in you, watching a bad movie, and yucking it up with your friends. That's what we're doing. We have microphones.
We have great impersonations. We have bad impersonations.
I think it might be one of the best podcasts I've ever heard.
That's the best podcast I've ever heard, fellas. And I ain't lying through my giant teeth. There's a sample.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere. Badmoviesworstpeople.com. Come check us out.
If you don't follow
us, we will follow you home.
But yeah, there's that blow up between him and Han Solo where he's like, look, you know what? Get the fuck out of here. Take care of yourself. That's what you're good at, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, Harrison Ford, he's like, fuck,
Shut
man.
up, Chewie.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
I do need
want to hear it.
I do need money because Jabba, this gangster, is
Yeah.
trying to kill me.
Yeah, human or slug.
Yeah, whichever version, fat Irishman or slug.
You show me the difference.
You're allowed to say
One's
that.
like this, and one's not.
And then we go into like the X-wing assault. It's Red Squadron and Gold Squadron because Blue Squadron, as we know now,
Yeah, it's
was eliminated
wiped
on
out.
Scarif.
We watched Red 5 get wiped out on Scarif too, so that's where Luke's gonna fit just right in.
He's like, "Oh, can I get a designation?" They're like, "Red 5." He's like, "But there's a 7 over there. How am I 5?" They're like, "I wouldn't worry about it."
You don't worry about what happened to the last 5. Well, I wasn't, but now I am. I bet you're
Bet you
thinking.
think we killed
I
him.
bet you're thinking Red 5 died.
But you
He's
think
on vacation.
Bet you think I killed my Red 5? So we have a couple of characters I have here: Porkins, Wedge, and Biggs.
Uh-huh.
So Biggs is his friend from Tatooine. Wedge survives because he's in the next movie at least, right?
Wedge is in all 3
Okay.
of the OT.
And Whitney thought she recognized
And he's in
him,
the book.
but-
No, and while he's flying, he
Isn't he
looks
Ewan
like somebody
McGregor's
else.
uncle?
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Yeah, he's the one that played Wedge, right? That's
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor's uncle.
He looks like a different actor when he's got the helmet on.
Okay.
So
And then we got Porkins, who inspires my name here, Durkins, because I'm sitting over here looking like Porkins right now, leaning back in my chair.
Oh,
like,
what do we name
"We're
the
gonna
big?
survive."
What do we name the big fat guy in the X-wing? Porkins. Call him Porkins.
His name's actually Perkins, but everybody around him is just like, "Hey, Porkins."
He's like, God damn it! I should have never joined this rebellion. They weren't this mean to me, the Empire.
Fucking drive my ship into
I
the
love my pork rinds.
Fucking
Fuck
jerk
you.
this X-wing into the goddamn Death Star.
Exactly. That's what I was going for. I have another movie with Porkins, by the way.
Oh,
William
we
talked
Hootkins.
about this, yeah.
William
Of
Hootkins.
course you do.
It's called Death Ring, I believe is the name. I think that's the one.
Death Star.
Death Ring.
He's got a type.
It might be
He
a
does
different.
have a
It might
type.
be a different title. I'm pretty sure it's called Death Ring though, and it has William Hootkins.
Okay.
Hootkins.
Hootkins is a great name for Porkins.
Hootkins plays Porkins.
Yeah. So Perkins and Wedge and Biggs and all these other folks have to go out and try to assault the Death Star, and we get the TIE fighters coming out, and it's this big World War II dogfight.
Because they mentioned that the snub fighters of the Empire just doesn't think this is anyone's going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, this is actually what like a big part of why the rebellion worked, because the X-wings had their own individual hyperdrive, so you could come in, bing bang boom, and fucking dip out before the Empire could even know what happened. So they send these snub fighters, and the big turbo lasers can't get them.
Well, and you don't have to like show up with a big ship that comes out of hyperspace and then get everybody to come out.
Right.
They can all show up on their own.
Yeah. The rebellion was preaching individuality.
And this is when we get that one officer telling Tarkin, he's like, dude, we've analyzed their attack plan and there might be a problem.
Yeah.
We should probably get you out of here. And he's like, evacuate in our moment of glory.
Because
And then Vader's like, I'm gonna go out there.
well, Vader's just like, because Luke is a great pilot,
Yeah.
and he's just can't get taken down by anybody else. And Vader's like, finally a worthy opponent.
Yes.
I already killed an old man today. We'll kill a 19-year-old boy.
Yeah. Even if
Do
he
them
is
both.
my son.
I'm going for a full cycle. Show me a middle-aged girl. I'll kill
So
her.
he has no clue, right? He was told his child, because he didn't know there was 2. He was told his child
And that's
died.
one of the weird
100%
things.
correct.
That's one of the
Okay.
weird things because here he's like, oh, the Force is strong with this one. He
Mhm.
can obviously feel it because especially because that's at that moment is when Obi-Wan is talking to him. So there's a
Uh-huh.
lot of Force whatever going on.
He's getting a little feedback
But
on
like
the baby monitor.
later on in the next 2 movies, he feels Luke there and he's like, oh, I know who this is. Like, so why didn't he know here? That's
he
a
didn't
big question
put
I
2
have
together.
here.
He didn't 1 and 1 is 3 yet,
Okay.
because Leia.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
1 and
He
1
so he might be
is actually 3.
He might just be thinking that the connection that he feels, because it is familial,
Because it's the
he
Force.
just thinks you're that strong in the Force.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, and he's like, man, I can really feel this guy.
Again,
he
I'm
must
not-
be super powerful.
I'm not nitpicking that much. I
Sure.
don't really care. It's just
No,
one of those
absolutely.
it's
How
one
do
of
I
it's
get
one
it
of
and you
those few
don't?
things they haven't explained with a movie yet.
Right.
So- or a
Right.
show.
It didn't need explanation.
I know it doesn't. It's just you know.
I get it. And I'm not a Warzer person.
Werzer?
I don't know what you
I
call
don't
it.
know.
That's not
I
That's-
don't know what you call yourself. What do you call yourself?
Star Horse.
I'm not a whore.
I'm not a whore.
Not.
But so we hit the first guy shooting. It's negative. It just hit the edges.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he shot before
then
he
they
got
all
in the
get
hole.
killed.
This trench run's so fucking cool.
It is.
Why do they have to go down there and then do the run? Why don't they get in closer?
I always thought that when I was younger. I'm sure it's a.
There's probably a logistical reason that I'm not aware of.
The only thing that
The
bothers
defenses
me
there were
too-
stronger, so they had to get under them.
There's another thing that bothers me, and it's for dramatic purposes. I understand, but like they go in teams of 3.
Yeah.
And like as when Luke goes in for his run, this Wedge is like, "Hey, watch out for those turrets," and he's like, "I'll worry about the turrets. You worry about the fighters."
Yeah.
Great. These X-wings only shoot forward.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the 2 X-wings behind you doing other than just being fodder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should be up above a little bit, like just up behind you a bit.
Yeah, or
And
like
when you see somebody on your radar, like, come in now.
like they come in and it's like the turrets stop because Vader and his people are coming in. So like then they need to fucking loop to loop
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
get
what I
behind
would've
him or
done.
do something because like both runs it's just the guy
He's
up
gotta do what
front
he
and
did
the
in
2 guys behind
Firebirds.
him that are just blocking.
You got to do what he does in Firebirds and put on the air brakes and let him fly by.
Yeah, or Top Gun.
Because I am the greatest.
But like it never made sense to me. Like those 2 guys are literally just there to take fire.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's dramatic. It's just for dramatic purposes.
You need people shot down.
Or George Lucas was using, we know he's using old World War II footage and movies. Just didn't plan this one out that well.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, not a big deal. It's just a weird thing for them to just be like, okay, I see him. There he is at point 3.
Uh-huh. And now
Neat.
what?
Cool. Do you have flares or anything?
I guess maybe you can put all of your fucking shield power behind you and hopefully take a couple hits.
I guess
form.
just running guard for the front guy.
Yeah,
They do
I don't
say
like it.
deflectors double front, but that's when they're coming up. They can
Uh-huh.
always switch it.
You can
So,
angle it.
Yeah.
So
But either way, it's that final attack run. He goes in with the camera, much like you were just referencing Firebirds.
simulator.
But
Yeah.
he decides he needs to use the Force instead. So he takes that shit off. Well, he doesn't decide.
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
tells,
tells
him.
him.
Yep.
And I just love that when he first hears it, or the first time he hears it is right when they're getting off the Death Star.
Mhm.
He's like, "Run, Luke," or whatever.
It's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, he doesn't question it. He's like, "Sure, voices in my head, that's fine."
Been hearing
but
those
here
my
it's like-
entire life.
Use
Right
the
here.
Force, Luke. And
He
he's
cried
like,
right here.
Right here.
Really?
I don't know why. It was something about him being there with him. He's like, the Force is strong with you. You got this. I'm here with you.
Wow. I
And
wouldn't
then
have
the
picked. I wouldn't
score,
have picked this. The
right?
score does drop. The score does drop. So
And
I do
then
get that.
I fucking just 2 little tears. Like my nose is burning right now thinking about it. And then he's just like, bloop, go for hole.
Your nose burns when you cry?
Yeah.
Weird. I'd
It's
ask
'cause
you,
I'm
but you're a
holding it.
robot.
"Yeah."
I hold
When
it
you leak
back.
oil, does your
When you hold the tears back, does it not burn?
oh, I let them flow when they happen.
You're talking to robots.
So I get, yeah.
How I've said my nose
You're
burns.
talking
and
to a
this is the
recovering
fir-
Irish Catholic dude.
This is the first time you've heard it?
Yeah, I never
I've
knew
said
your
it
nose
too.
burned.
Yeah.
News to me.
Like, so are the shots going in like swooping the way they do in the effect,
No,
or is it
because
just the
it's
way
no
they're
longer-
showing us?
It's
No,
no
I
longer
think
going
it's-
forward. It's dropping in.
Yeah, I think
It's
it
got
drops
no
in
more momentum.
Okay, so he can kind of control these ion torpedoes or
to a
whatever.
degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do they call them? Not ion torpedoes. That's Star Trek, but it doesn't matter.
They do have ion cannons in it. Like ion's a thing.
And maybe
Because they
that's
say
why
something about like the defense, it can't get through without a certain type of torpedo.
Photon torpedo.
That's right. Go ahead.
and that's why he can hit
Yes, student in the back.
and that's why he could hit the womp
Womp rat.
Womp rats because he always had the Force with him.
Oh, because he's like James McAvoy in Wanted, and he can curve bullets.
Yeah.
He's like, that womp rat went
You-
into its hole. Hold on.
Do you want to take a guess how many people were killed on the Death Star?
Oh God.
4
I feel like they say it in
273.
that Clerks thing I was referencing. But it's like
It's-
it's millions of people.
It's like 1.7 million.
Yeah.
How many of them were clones?
None.
No, none of them at this point.
Tarkin hated clones.
A lot
They
of
were
independent
expensive.
contractors, though.
They were expensive, and
I thought the whole point of clones was because they were expendable.
sure, but so are people to Tarkin.
Mm.
They
And-
switched
and
from
the
clones
Emperor.
for a
They don't
lot
give
of
a shit.
Yeah, they switched to clones for a lot of reasons, or from clones. Expensive. They destroyed Camino, like in the cartoon Bad Batch. I think they just where the clones are born.
Okay.
They fucking took the information about cloning and wiped them out.
Are they real people?
Who?
Clones.
Yeah, they're all.
I know they're a clone
I mean,
of
it depends
Boba
on your
Fett,
definition
right?
of real people, but
Obi-Wan sees him as like in the Force. And so did Anakin. One of the other Jedis did not. He ended up going dark, and he was just throwing fucking clones into the war, like trying to kill him. But no, they also they switched also because they wanted the camaraderie of you having a brother in the Empire or a dad,
Makes sense, yeah.
or you being in the Empire. Like, no, we're all doing our part. It's not just these fucking clones fighting and killing and yada yada. That's my brother piloting that ship.
they have
Yeah.
those Uncle Sam posters, but with the Emperor on them.
I want
you. Much less convincing, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy man in like a red, white, and blue top hat versus just like melting dude in a hood. I want you.
He wouldn't put that in there. He would just be like,
It would be
just
him
be like,
as the senator.
The Emperor wants you.
It'd be him. It'd be
No,
Ian.
no picture.
It'd be Ian McDiarmid with the hair and looking like a human,
He would use his right hand man, Masamita.
not looking like melty version that Mace Windu took care of there.
Oh yeah.
But I just love this whole moment, and I remember watching this as a wee child the first time.
Oh, we lad.
The torpedoes go in, and it's like commence primary ignition.
Oh, we didn't talk
Stand
about
by.
the fact that Han came back, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sorry.
He-
Well, but that's actually, he says, I think it's right before, because he says, Tarkin says they get into range. And by the way, I started timing it when the first time, not when they said 15 minutes, but when they said 7 minutes till we reach the rebel base or till it's in view. I started timing. And when they said 1 minute, there was 1 minute left. But then by the time all this shit happens, it was at 9 minutes. 'Cause
Yeah.
movie time. But I was like, wow, they actually.
Also-
got really close.
Yeah.
Also, the time on the screen kept going from 15 to 7 to 9.
Well, I told her,
to
I was like,
3
they don't
to-
use regular numbers.
Exactly. That's
Arabosh
That's
numbers.
Arabosh numbers.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But they
uh-huh.
do say commence primary ignition, and that's before Han shows up. Like he says commence, and then the guys start doing their beep booping, and that's when Han comes in, shoots the trench.
Saves
Those
him from
two dudes
Vader.
go out. Vader spins out into space, which I read was a late addition.
He was gonna kill him.
George Lucas added it because he was like, oh, for a sequel, even though at the time sequels were basically just considered, which I mean we kind of
Trash.
think of them now, but they were considered cheap cash in trash.
Yeah.
Nothing was good was come of it. But he's like,
Except for Godfather 2.
He's like, we'll see. Even though he thought it was going to fail, he still was like, oh, leave it open. I guess even cheap cash in trash
He
makes
knew.
you some money.
I don't think he
This
thought it was
whole
gonna
time.
fail. I just think he was just like, if I can make my money back,
Yeah.
and sell some toys.
But again, even cheap trash can make you money.
yeah,
So
Someone's going to like
dude,
it.
think about this. Like
the next
well,
movie,
you know what?
I won't give up my director's pay.
I bet Vader's ship has hyperdrive because the TIE fighters don't. So any of these TIE
His is a
fighters,
little different.
his
It's that curved,
Yeah,
right.
his looks like a little bullet.
Was it a toe fighter?
it's a TOE fighter. No, his is probably the TIE Interceptor.
It looks like a toe.
I've heard another name for it. and
There's a
Interceptor
bunch of
sounds
different
familiar.
TIE. Yeah. But I thought about that. Like, dude, so any TIE fighter that's not Vader now that wasn't blowed up is just going to fucking die in space.
Yeah, because they got to go sublight to wherever the next place. There ain't no planet there.
Do you know the TIE
Oh,
fighters?
they're at Yavin now. There is a planet, but I don't think there's anybody on Yavin.
Well, at least you can land there and not starve.
Yeah.
Because these TIE fighters have no life support system. That's how cheaply made they are.
Is that why they all have to wear the masks?
And they have the breathers on and everything. Like, that's them. The TIE fighters are mass-produced hunks of crap. Well, they're fast. They're really fast, but they're mostly hunks
Yeah,
of
because they
crap.
don't have any life support.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Vader gets launched out into space,
get
and
that.
this even as a kid, I thought it was silly, like this tumbling through space, and he's like,
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's something.
It's for babies.
Yeah, it's made for 12 and under.
Yeah.
It's,
Here I am, 42,
sorry,
on a
people.
podcast about it.
And
It's
here
12
I
and
am
under.
watching it today, having a great time, and then I'm like, play again with commentary. So, but that's when we get the standby, standby, boom. Fucking great, dude.
Dope.
Yep.
So fucking, because it's
Think
like,
about a boom.
it's the counter,
Mhm.
that timer counting down, but they didn't put a timer up,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the movie when you're watching, it's like 3, 2, 1. Oh, I cut the wire at the last second. Except for he didn't cut a wire.
The
He killed
photon torpedo
1.7
got
million
there.
people.
But it,
This one's for Alderaan, bitch.
yeah, right?
And then the movie just ends. I mean, we got the medal scene, but it's like they have that moment where she's like, I knew you were more than just money, Han. And then it
Mhm.
cuts to medal ceremony. End of
Chewie
movie.
getting snubbed.
yeah.
Chewie got
But
snubbed.
that's because he wanted He wanted to wrap it up to the sense of if it didn't get a sequel, you can just use in your brain like, all right, well, the Emperor's weakened now because he doesn't have his big giant Death Star.
Yeah.
We know that he was working on something very different.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie.
Operation
So, I mean,
Cinder.
we do our 5 lightsaber ratings. I mean, for Jack and I feel like this is silly, so we'll start with you. Lev.
Yeah, it's silly.
Out of 5 lightsabers, we have the Yoda sabers and the Khmer sabers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you give this movie?
What do you think I give it?
5.
What do you think I give it?
7. Yavin.
What do you guys think?
General
I give
Grievous.
It?
A General Grievous amount of lightsabers.
That's only 4, right?
Yeah, well, now if he's got it on his feet too. One in his mouth.
No, I honestly,
4.5.
it does deserve 5.
Yay! We
I
win.
thought so.
It
Because
really
The
does.
nerds win.
It's it's just.
I mean,
it's
it's-
And we didn't even have to
wonderful-
rape anybody. Sorry, Revenge of the Nerds.
Yes, I know.
I'm letting the people know. I wasn't just saying weird things.
it's not what we do.
This movie holds on its own for many reasons. It was its own movie,
Yeah,
for one. I mean,
that's helpful.
it doesn't need a sequel. Everything is in there. Dude flies off, presumably in space, and dies.
Yeah.
Vader.
I know who you meant by dude.
We don't know.
Dude Vader.
Coming into this, I was like, okay, you like the very first time I watched it when I was a wee lass. No idea that Vader was his dad. No idea that it was his sister. Like,
Neither did George.
it was just who's she gonna get with? The strapping did it, or I should probably say the strapping did, or this
Thanks,
guy.
thanks though. Thanks for
Or
correcting yourself
this
on
guy.
camera. No. She started with you saying strapping dude and was like, oh, I should switch this.
Well, no, because like it'd be
At least you
Han
didn't get this
or
guy.
Luke.
My husband's gonna make me sleep on the couch.
No, either Han or Luke, and I'm like,
That's where I was sleeping.
So I mean, it's just it's very enjoyable, and there's a lot of pew 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 pew.
And it sets up the fact that most chicks like a bad boy.
Yeah.
We do like a bad
Because Luke should be the
boy.
choice, right? Like if you're not related. If you're not
Correct.
related. Luke's the hero. He's the good guy.
Yeah.
He was there. He's the one that talked Han into coming back. But no,
Yeah.
no. You want the scruffy looking nerf herder.
Yeah, with the dog.
Who you calling scruffy?
That's not until the next one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, did I miss that? Did it happen? It didn't. That's Empire.
Which I can't wait
I
to
guess
do.
it makes me want to watch the next one.
I mean, like I said, ours are obvious, but
Yeah,
I'll still save Star Wars guy for last. I just want to say a few things about it. 5, obviously, maybe 7, 10, 12. I don't know.
Yeah.
This started the whole thing. We did our rankings early on in the series, and I still put Empire above this, but
Yeah.
without this, Empire doesn't exist, and without episode 6, Empire doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably the better movie because it is a movie, self-contained movie. It's not the middle of a trilogy, but I mean, I'm still gonna put Empire above it just because it's such a fucking cooler.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah,
And this is a masterpiece as well.
yeah.
So it's tough. But
I mean, and for all the shit we give George Lucas about not knowing how humans work and all this stuff, like he invented something great. He wrote something great.
Agreed.
A lot of the dialogue is cheesy, but it doesn't matter because it fits into this world that he invented.
he somehow got the right people involved
And I mean,
too.
just the effects work.
Yeah.
The people he found to do this work for no money. I mean, they are, to reference something we've done a few times on our other podcast, Bad Movies, Where's People, they built this in a cave out of scraps.
Tony
Built this
Stark.
city.
George Lucas made this movie in a cave out of scraps.
Phil Tippett made the Dianoga in a cave out of scraps.
Dianoga, nice.
See, I got it.
Yeah,
I remember an hour
It's
ago.
5 lightsabers for me for everything that both you just said. Very self-contained, but I mean, reinvented cinema, changed my life for better or worse. But
Can
yeah,
I
go
add
ahead.
something?
Yeah.
You don't need your caveats for this.
Oh God, no!
Oh no, I could wake up and watch this.
I could Dr. Seuss this movie here, there, anywhere with Fred Astaire.
I
I
know-
don't care.
I almost sent you a clip. It's like when you're trying to clean your house and then it's bah, bah, and the dude just drops the vacuum and lands on the couch. And it's just like,
Yeah, all
blue,
day.
red when I'm dead.
I love this. What did I say? 3rd time watching it this month. That's why when you're like, "Oh, we just started. You can come over." I'm like, I can't make it 4.
You could.
I can't make this my
Yep.
most.
I honestly, when you said
You
were
did,
you were
right?
ready to go, and I said we just started it, I was like, we just started. I was halfway expecting like 4 seconds later, ding dong.
No, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this chance to actually do something around my house.
Be
watch
a
Star
responsible
Wars.
adult, not just watch Star Wars. You had it on the background though.
Well, yeah. Duh. It started over.
But so I mean, 5 stars, great movie. Obviously, that's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
It's
this
where the
is
name
a
of the
podcast.
The name of the podcast exists.
It's the little,
I know
it's
when
the,
that part
it's the little
happened.
engine that could, dude. Toot toot. Like it just, this movie should not have done what it did, and it changed a lot. It changed culture too. We used to not get nearly as many toys and things branded.
No.
Spaceballs nails it, where it's like Spaceballs the this,
Spaceballs the flamethrower.
Yeah, the flamethrower. Like they nailed it because like Star Wars the what, Star Wars the blank, and you can fill it in however you want.
And
Bed sheets, pull-ups, silverware.
It brought
Diapers.
science
Pottery.
fiction back to cinema.
Yeah.
Because for a while people cared about science fiction, the moon landing and stuff, like us
Are
actually
you saying
giving
the
a
moon landing is science fiction?
No. During the moon landing era and stuff, like us actually
Yeah.
caring about science as a country, science fiction became big.
Yeah.
And then it went away. And at this era, the late 70s, I mean, I listed some of the other people that were friends with George Lucas that watched this. You know, Brian De Palma
Coppola.
and Francis Ford Coppola. They're doing much more grounded, like the 70s new wave of cinema, this auteur stuff, where
Movies
they're
were
making
slower,
these real
too.
movies, like real stories.
Yeah.
I mean, like not real movie. This is a real movie, but like
Right.
real stories about real people, and like, you know, you Dress to Kill and Godfather and all these things, and like this brought back something that nobody was doing anymore. It's kind of like
Fast, fun cinema.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
When Andy's playing with the Woody doll, and then Buzz Lightyear becomes the cool thing, and so he's like, "Oh, space people, that's way cooler." That's exactly what this was. It wasn't from westerns to sci-fi, which was the first wave. Westerns were the thing, then sci-fi became the thing, and then like real gritty cinema became the thing. And this brought back fantasy and sci-fi to mass media culture,
That's pretty awesome.
which is, I mean, my bread and butter. So
I mean, there's just not that many fandoms this big. Maybe less now. But,
yeah,
this was
there's
the
all these people that
original
hate it, but it's because all these
fanatic.
people like us who grew up watching it, and they've like heroized all this.
I never
stuff.
thought I'd say this. They're not as like emotionally stable as us.
Yeah, and I'm not emotionally stable.
I'm just more than them.
Not emotionally capable, I guess would be the correct
Yeah, you're
term.
pretty
but like,
stable.
stable, fine, capable. eh. But like all this new stuff that comes out, and people are like, "Well, this isn't good because of this and that." And da, da, da. I'm like, you really need to watch those original movies
Again.
With
with
a
a
different
modern
lens.
eye. Like, look at it without your
Goggles.
foggy rose-colored lenses.
Look at it without the blacked out blaster. The helmet.
Yes,
But
thank
man,
you.
I could watch this like the set for the Millennium Falcon. The inside, I could hang out there forever.
Yeah.
I could have that on my TV forever. Just like
It's-
the cool sets they built. Like I said, everybody involved was the right person somehow.
It's beautiful stuff, and like honestly, like I actually thought about this original trilogy 2 years ago or something, when Scorsese was talking shit about superhero movies,
Yeah.
and how they're not real cinema and da da da.
Which he ended up being
Scorsese
right
was-
as they went on.
Well,
but not at the time.
But Scorsese is part of this friends group at this time. He's with Spielberg and Coppola and all these guys. And like, sure, he was making Mean Streets and After Hours, and like he ended up moving into Goodfellas and all this stuff. He's making a different thing, but I didn't hear him say that about Star Wars and stuff. It's with this modern stuff, and I'm like, this is still real cinema. It
Yeah,
just
it
isn't.
is.
It isn't that cinema.
Right.
There's popcorn entertainment cinema, which is what this is, and then there's like, I need to spend 3 hours and be emotionally drained cinema, like Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a great movie, but it's a different experience. I could watch this more than I can watch that.
I could put this on Feel Good.
Exactly. And it, you know, I mean, and maybe it led in a indirect way to a downfall of popcorn cinema, because people wanted to be more like, but it's
What
artificial, it's artificial surface level, blah, blah, blah stuff. Like, but this had a little bit more behind it, because it was like you said, an independent film. It's
Mhm.
all these people gave a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But what it
it's a weird
spawned is not its
dichotomy.
fault. Like what comes after is not Star Wars' fault.
No. And like, no matter, like I said, no matter how much shit we talk about George Lucas, he invented this entire universe.
He started the fire.
and I've spent at least 34 years engrossed in his world.
Yeah.
You know what? You guys should let us know what you think. Like, what do you rate this in the how many? 9?
Yeah, 9.
Nine
Nine
main
episodes?
movies.
Well, I think we included Rogue One and Solo.
11
did we?
movies. 11 movies if we're going to include those. Fucking 10,000 if we're including episodes of TV
We're
shows.
not.
But like 11 movies overall, 9 episodes thus far. But yeah, I mean, you can comment below if you're on. I know Spotify has comments And if you're listening on
I've used
Patreon, you can leave comments.
Yeah.
You can't leave comments on every source, but you
You can always email us.
email
at
us.
hauntookshotsfirst@gmail.com.
Send a carrier pigeon.
And you can go to hauntookshotsfirstpod.com and you can watch stuff on there. We got YouTube. We got all this stuff. Do that. Comment there. Comment on YouTube. Comment on Spotify. Let us know what you think. Let us know if this is all you love and you hate everything after.
That's fine.
I know the
I'll
people.
listen.
I know a lot of those people, and it's fine. I just like stuff where things goes bang bang.
Yeah.
I like the pew pews.
I like things that make me happy.
I like you when you're happy.
No, that's weird.
After this, we will be discussing, obviously, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, which is like the second most excited I am now, because I was really excited just to get to the original trilogy.
Yeah, he was.
Now I'm really excited to get to
The
Empire.
meat of this beautiful sandwich.
Obviously, this is a 2-part episode, so you guys are hearing the end of the second part. I didn't say that at the beginning because we didn't know how long it was going to be.
It's a 2-parter.
It's a 2-parter.
It's a 2-parter, boys.
Yeah, kind of figured it would be.
Yeah.
It's me. It's
So did
Star
I.
Wars. It's us.
Yeah. I ask a lot of questions.
If you want
I talk a
to
lot.
see the Han Took Shots first episodes early or hear them early, depending on if we're doing video or not, because we're still working on all this, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/worstpeople. You get Han Took Shots first episodes early and complete and ad-free, so no 2-part shit, none of that. And you also get other content for Bad Movies Worst People, which is our other show, which you can also find at badmoviesworstpeople.com. Bam, bam.
It's only $3 a month, guys.
That's not much.
It's not really. It's like,
It's a lot to us.
It is a lot to us.
yeah. I mean, it's not a lot to you, right? But we appreciate any support, and we appreciate you guys listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in. I've been Derek.
I'm Jack.
Hi, Drew. I'm Whitney.
May the force be with you
It also
always. Yeah, always.
You went Catholic.
yeah,
I did.
Catholic-y.